Welcome, everybody, to another episode of HBCU Huddle. I am CJ Hurt, joined alongside by Mike Wallace. Mike, it's been a long time, man.
Hey, it's been a minute, but time is flying, brother. Glad to be back here with you. Another good show. We got a lot to plan, a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on. And it's grilling season, it's outdoor season, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming in these next couple days, particularly right here in the Memphis community. So, hey, follow this show today, and we're gonna lead you to something big time.
Absolutely. We will talk about some HBCU picnics going on, particularly in the Memphis area as well. We'll also touch on the MEAC SWAC Challenge. That's made some news. They've made an announcement about who's going to be performing at the Southern Heritage Classic concert. We'll talk about that as well. But first, Mike, it's NBA draft. I was looking around for some HBCU connections, and there are HBCU connections, most notably the Thompson twins, 2 players for Overtime Elite that are going to, by the looks of things, be not only lottery picks, but probably both top 10 picks. Their brother, Troy Thompson Jr., was a multi-year starter at Prairie View A&M, averaged close to 10 points in his time for the Panthers.
Hey, that's big time, man. I mean, when you have family lineage that has connections to the HBCU ranks, you know these guys are coming from a good place. You know that this is, something that they can be prepared for as well, too, to go into this next step. So there will be some at least HBCU adjacent storylines going into Thursday's NBA draft.
There are quite a few parents who graduated from HBCUs in this year's draft, and it's just good to see HBCU flavor infiltrating the NBA draft, even though it's probably most likely like 99.999% chance that nobody from HBCU gets drafted again, which extends Robert Covington's streak as the last HBCU player selected. Mike, how long do you think, just guessing, recklessly speculating, when do you think we'll see another player from HBCU drafted?
And I know we recklessly speculate.
We love to recklessly speculate, baby. That's my jam right there.
No, that's all good. I think from that standpoint, man, it should be, when you talk about the transfer portal and where some of these guys are moving around, you definitely have, if not draft picks, but definitely guys that can find their way into the league through undrafted free agency, workouts, G League, and all of those kind of things. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, man. I was talking to Robert Covington about that a couple years ago. At one point in the NBA in the 90s and the early 2000s, you had Ben Wallace, Charles Oakley. You had guys that have been around, the league, and you had multiple HBCU guys playing at the same time. And now for this last 5 to 10 years, Covington has been the lone guy. The one guy, Tennessee State, Robert Covington, playing that 3-and-D. And, that's been pretty much it. So with the transfer portal, guys moving around from Power 5 programs to HBCUs and back and forth, I think we should see somebody and see that kind of change. Hopefully it does. What I can say, though, is that the league does make an attempt to make sure its staffs and its basketball operations and its business operations have an HBCU flavor and opportunities. And the Grizzlies, I know we didn't plan to talk about this, but the Grizzlies were one of a half a dozen teams that have a NBA designated HBCU graduate or HBCU student in their internship program. So we'll be having her come join us in one of these upcoming HBCU Huddle shows. But we do have someone who's a representative of the HBCU NBA internship initiative. So they're doing it off the court. We just got to get back to get it done on the court.
I said Robert Covington was drafted. I forgot he was not drafted. He was an undrafted guy. So I think the 90s was the last time somebody was drafted. Maybe Lindsey Hunter around 93, 94.
You're going back.
I think that was the last HBCU basketball player drafted.
Yeah. That's way too long. That's they're only 60 slots. They're only 60 slots.
Only 60 slots.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different factors that go into that. Players, you got to have the staff to be able to go out and find players.
Oh, that's not a problem. The finding of the players isn't the problem.
Then you got to have the facilities to get the players. And you say it's not a problem.
No, because
you say it's not a problem. But John Morant left South Carolina and ended up in Murray. Steph was in North Carolina, ends up at at Davidson. You can't get people to see C.J. McCollum, who ends up with C.J. Lehigh. Dame Lillard is at Portland State, right? And so I'm not naming the dudes who are at the Dukes or the Michigan States or the Arizonas. I'm naming dudes who have gone to lower, honestly, truthfully, lower level mid-major programs. And so there's got to be a better evaluation of talent by HBCU coaching staffs, and they've got to have the resources available to be able to see as many of these players as possible, and then to get the right ones to come
at the
through,
right time.
At the right time to come through. That's my point.
And
like, you got to be able to find the diamonds in the rough, because they're there, and for some reason they just end up at other institutions, not necessarily HBCUs.
Yeah, no. You're absolutely right from that standpoint. You know what I mean? But we also have to leave room in that analogy and those examples that you gave. Damian Lillard and Steph Curry and John Morant weren't the players they were at 10th, 11th, and 12th grades that they became as sophomores in college and in first year and second year NBA players either. They developed, right? And maybe it took them going to a smaller place so that they could have better opportunities as opposed to going to a bigger school and not even getting a chance to play.
Yeah.
So that's it. It is. But when you look at the NBA, these guys scour the globe to find talent, and I think they overlook American talent. That's one of the biggest problems that I had in some of the conversations with people at the NBA Finals. Is
really,
this league is becoming so internationally dependent, and the reason why HBCU players aren't being looked at, particularly in the second round, is because these teams would rather go overseas and get a European player who's playing professionally that they can draft and stash over there. Nikola Jokic. Draft and stash. And when you have second-round picks, that's what you're doing. You're developing them in leagues that are far more competitive and superior than what we're possibly seeing at the HBCU ranks and the lower-level Division I American ranks. So it's a lot of politics that go into it. But that does not mean that there are not players that can come through, because some of the greatest players in the Hall of Fame came through HBCU ranks. They are there for sure.
We did a pick 6 about best HBCU basketball players.
We
did basketball players also.
Yeah.
Remember, I left a couple of Virginia Union guys.
Oh, yeah. We did basketball first. Yeah.
So we've done that. So if you've missed it, go back, watch that episode, or listen. We may have still been a podcast, audio only. So go back and listen if you missed that. And that's something I never thought about. I've never thought about the way that the recruitment, not necessarily recruitment, but the grabbing of international players to stash philosophy, how that might impact HBCU players. Our wonderful director, regular Jacob downstairs, points out that 3 HBCU players have been drafted since 2000. So they have been drafted since then. So it's not as far back as the 90s. We've had a couple of them drafted.
Regular Jacob got to give us the names, though.
Not since 2012.
Okay.
Kylo Quinn, 2012.
Yes, Norfolk State.
David Young in 04.
Okay.
For North Carolina Central. And Flip Murray.
Ronald Murray
from Shaw.
Yes,
and Flip was on the list.
Yes.
I forget about Flip.
Yes. Kylo Quinn, I do remember him. He had Norfolk State has been on the run recently, too. But I remember when Kylo Quinn, they had an NCAA tournament upset when he was at North Carolina, Norfolk State. And I remember he played in Orlando. I actually talked to him several times during the league. But he played with the Knicks. You know, he was a great beard guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So shout out to them. Look at regular Jacob.
Last first round pick, according to regular Jacob, was Carlos Rogers from Tennessee State.
Okay.
I do believe.
Okay.
So that's the NBA.
We're still
draft,
talking
HBCU.
decades. It's 2023.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That was 94. That was the one from 94. Let's keep on moving, man. Let's get on the football field for a second. MEAC SWAC Challenge. Everybody loves that.
Yep.
It's going to be in prime time on ABC for the first time ever, Mike. This is huge news. It is a way to continue to grow the fan bases and to grow the eyeballs of HBCU football, which, like, football drives everything in college. If you get that football revenue up, then you're talking about baseball revenue, softball, volleyball, track, soccer, basketball. You're talking about all that revenue going up as well. Yeah. Mike, when you saw this, what was your first thought? Initial reaction?
Having seen and covered the SWAC MEAC SWAC Challenge for years, the first thing I look at is, did they get the schools right? Did they get the programs right? they haven't always gotten the programs right particularly for the kickoff game.
Okay.
The kickoff game. This year they got the programs right.
Yeah.
You have two, HBCU blue bloods, as you would say. South Carolina State and Jackson State are teams that met for the HBCU national title a couple of years ago. So it's like, okay, now you know what both of those teams bring. You saw it when you were there. South Carolina State travels, right? They do travel. And you know Jackson State's going to bring their 20,000 plus. So it's going to be well attended in that old Georgia State football stadium right there. And, those are going to bring the eyeballs, man. I think that game is going to be engaging. I'm looking forward to it. If the schedule lines up, we'll be there. And it's one of those things where you kick it off the right way, and then it sets the table for everything else that you're doing from an HBCU football schedule the rest of the way.
Great way to open the college football season. Great way to open HBCU play. I would like for it to get to a point where we go MEAC SWAC Challenge, and it's a whole day of action. And so instead of it being one game, you say, okay, Jackson State, South Carolina State, Howard and Alabama State will play. Now, that doesn't have to be neutral. That can be on somebody's home field. And you say, all right, we'll go Prairie View A&M and Norfolk State. Y'all will play. And make it more, include more teams in it, and just have the whole day be SWAC MEAC. And I think that would be a fun little thing for both conferences to pull off.
No, that makes sense. And if you're going to do it, I mean, I didn't even think about that until you just mentioned it, CJ. But that's depending on what day that falls on, a Saturday or a Sunday, you could take two games, have one game Saturday, one game Sunday. Yeah. Because by then you're not going up against the NFL schedule at that point in terms of regular season.
And people are so thirsty for football.
And they are. And make it a weekend. And then you bring in, or you do MEAC SWAC, and then you do CIAA and SIAC. So you do one of them, the Division II big game, and then you do the FCS big game right there. So it would make sense. It definitely, it's a way. What you're saying is that there's a way this can grow, and get even greater. And it took another major step by going from ESPN's linear network to ABC. So this is an ABC primetime game, and it's going to be a lot of traction on that.
MEAC SWAC Challenge weekend. Yeah. Like, here we go. That would be great. The next three games, three MEAC SWAC games would be, or MEAC SWAC Challenge games, excuse me. Florida A&M, Norfolk State in 2024, Southern North Carolina Central in 2025, and Howard versus Alabama A&M in 2026. Okay. So those will be the next three. Before we get to a break, there's some big news coming out of the Southern Heritage Classic. We got the concert for the weekend. The concert is always on Friday, and it's my man, Uncle Charlie Wilson, and Morris Day and the Time Mike. Man, I saw Charlie Wilson when he was here in 2019 on the river at Bill Street Music Fest. And let me tell you people, Charlie Wilson still puts on a show.
Hey, look.
Still puts on a show.
Charlie Wilson comes here every year. You saw him in 2019 on the river. I saw him in 2021, 22. When he came here, who did he open for? Was he on New Editions?
Yes,
he was on the Jodeci. Jodeci, Charlie Wilson, New Edition, right? So I saw him 2 years ago, a year and a half ago here as well too. Yes, showstopper, number one. I feel bad. Well, I don't, because I've also seen Morris Day and the Time.
Still got it, baby.
Still got it. If it's anybody that can hold up and open for Charlie Wilson and not be overlooked, and you're going to still remember who came on before Charlie Wilson, it's definitely going to be Morris Day and the Time. So good double co-feature right there for the concert. Great game where Justin is Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Tennessee State. So I'm looking forward to another great weekend of Southern Heritage Classic.
Awesome. When we get back, we got a special guest. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to HBCU Huddle, baby.
This is the Nike Air Footscape Woven. So this is kind of a lifestyle running shoe.
Yeah. That's sold out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These have resale value, too.
Those have resale value on them.
Footscapes are comfortable.
They are so
comfortable. They're so comfortable.
Light.
They're hideous to look at, but they are so comfortable.
It's a cow.
Yeah, they're comfy.
The top area. Don't look at that particular one.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yeah, hold up, park the Rose truck. Why not pull up Lambo car and pop it with the doors up? This got colossal, I got models trying to pay me to tell her the price then went up. It's gonna cost more than a buck. Know that shit gonna be high, it got my name on this chronic. Driving slow now, but this car goes 0 to 60 if I punch it. She wake up and munch it, let me put.
Desmond Bain took a big step forward this year.
He was always a guy who he knew could shoot the ball. And when he started the playmaking, playing on the ball, taking guys off the dribble, we started seeing that he's a much more dynamic player than we thought.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The summer concert experience of a lifetime.
My name is Eric Badu.
With the Grammy Award-winning Erykah Badu. Erykah Badu, like you've never seen her before. The music, the vibe of Erykah Badu with special guest Yasin Bey. The Follow Me Tour with Erykah Badu. July 21st at FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Welcome back in, everybody. HBCU Huddle, CJ Hurt, Mike Wallace. We got a special guest, Kelvin Gates. What's going on, Mr. Gates? Kelvin Gates is the founder of the SWAC Alumni Picnic in the Memphis area. Excuse me. Mr. Gates, how's it going, man?
Doing great, man. Glad you guys got me back.
Get up in that microphone. Don't be shy.
No problem.
I try and fix my mic.
No problem. Glad you guys got us back talking about it again after a successful relaunch, we'll call it that, from last year. So it's back and headed toward continued support. So,
before we get into all the fun times that are going to be had at the picnic, I want to do a special public thank you, because every time I go to Jackson State, Mr. Gates is like, hey, come by, let me feed you. Let me get you some of this. He's fed me. He's fed my wife. He's fed one niece, two nieces, three nieces. He's fed us all, baby. And we love it every single time. So thank you publicly for that, man.
You guys are welcome anytime, no problem at all. Just come on. You know where the spot is, so just drop by. And you were there, so we throw anything on the grill. If it can be thought of, it's on there. So
absolutely. So how many years is this for you guys doing the SWAC Alumni Picnic?
2010.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I take that back. 2009, because originally there was still 1 year, the first, like anything, classic year was just Alcorn and Jackson State. Guy named an alumni, Washington, is it that? Is that it? Okay, but if I got it wrong, Booker T, I might be adding some I might be going back too bad in the history. But here's what's unique about that. He graduated with my sister in 1980 from Alcorn. So once again, like Mike always talks about on HBCU, the connections we've got those same lineage, and family trees. So now how cool is it that I'm friends with my sister's classmate from college in 1980, and I didn't go to college until 1983. So we Alcorn and Jackson State did a potluck, kicked off. It was successful. We rolled the schools in. We rolled up until pandemic year. Might have missed one after the pandemic, have to do the math, but we relaunched it again. Wow. Great. And we brought in two new schools, and Florida A&M still official until this year showed out as a newcomer. I still always claim Jackson State wins, so no problem there.
and Kelvin, we got to back up a little bit because obviously as the founder of the SWAC Alumni Picnic, you're a member of the SWAC. Jackson State proud, season ticket holder for decades. No matter where they play, obviously you're at the home games, but we follow you on social media, and we're going to let you give your handles. But you're on the road everywhere they go. There's nothing I can count on more on a Friday than to get that tweet or that text from you, and you're on the road somewhere showing your odometer and the windshield and pulling up into some stadium wherever Jackson State is playing. So we know that you're proud of you know what I mean, for sure.
Right.
So to go from that to first of all, how did it find its home in Memphis and in the park that you guys have been using the last couple of years? Last year was my first year attending the SWAC Alumni Picnic. I had a blast, man. We set up a Grind City Media table. We had giveaways. We had fans come out and sign up for our newsletter and our app and everything. And we want to do that again this year. So we had a lot of fun, and we'll share some pictures in an upcoming episode as well too. But tell us the location and what you know about this Saturday, this coming picnic.
Okay, once again, it's at Cameron Brown Park out in Germantown. That just became a location. It provided a pavilion, no problem. We did have it one year at Shelby Farms. Shelby Farms is after their remake. Really remodeled, and it got flooded with. You almost got to go a year out in advance. So
scheduling wise,
scheduling wise. So Cameron Brown is very accommodating for us. You were there, you saw it. It's got nice park and everything. So it just turned out to be why break tradition, right? So that worked out great as usual, man. They looking forward to you. Trust me, you were well received last year, of course.
Thank you.
So I think they're looking forward to you again this year, and there's no doubt, man. You guys, not only did I have fun tweeting that to you, that's how y'all kicked off my weekend. I treat HBCU Huddle like my ESPN HBCU Huddle.
As well you should.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm listening to, and I'm getting mad. I'm throwing stuff. I'm driving fast because Mike said something bad about Jackson State. He predicted, CJ might have predicted that we might lose a game. I'm like, really? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to call him up after that, even though he was right about the, I ain't going to say it loud, celebration. But however, that was just one game. But yeah, it just came about from the area schools. Yeah, the Memphis reason was, here I am, I'm in Memphis, I'm missing those kickoff games, and we said, man, we got to do something to kick the season off here with the local HBCU chapters. And remember, Memphis is an interesting area. From Mississippi, this is still one of the first stops a lot of bigger companies are, right, than Mississippi. No offense to that, but like anything, Memphis is a bigger city, a few more, at least FedEx, a couple of Fortune 500 companies. So you just got that natural migration as people come on up the 55 corridor, and so we end up with a lot of transplants here, and we had enough to kick it off, and the rest is history. That's it.
And as you said, it started off as the brainchild between Alcorn State and Jackson State as a family thing. And then up to last year, this past June of 2022, you had FAMU. Bethune-Cookman was represented. Jackson State, Grambling, Southern. You go even further than that. And one of the things I said was, man, you go beyond SWAC, because there's a lot of people knocking on the door saying, hey, I didn't go to a SWAC school. Do I have a spot here? And of course you say, come on in, you got it. But we're going to call it this because that's where the tradition is.
Right. And trust me, Mike, I think you might have created a problem with us last year. I think this year on the flyer, I saw the word other when they asked what school. So I'm like, I started to put a little note, Mike caused this problem. There is talk. There is very much a talk to have a bigger one. And you know what? Just sitting over there listening to I guess we'll call you the first part of the show, pregame. You guys got a good point. What's to say that we don't have make the SWAC make the SWAC picnic or cookout a cohesive of all of the HBCUs here in the area, and just have an HBCU weekend, or the classic. One weekend could be SWAC specific, and the next day maybe I don't want to say that like a Jack say smaller, but same idea what you're saying, because it would be nice. Hey, one thing about it, this is a great networking thing. Man, as soon as I got back to work, I started getting team messages from the FAMU people. I didn't respond really loud until after we beat them, but I came back from Miami and chatted up. Hey, were you at the game? Always as a Jacksonian or Southern, I'll give Southern a shout out for being a good trash talkers. So other than that, but yeah, it's a great networking thing, and that's it, man. It's just awesome. I think people are more amazed that wow, we have so many HBCU, and I think also you were there, Mike. Remember the people in the park were like coming up and asking. I thought that
what's
was
going
really
on
nice.
over here.
And even though my Coach Prime has left, one of the things that he definitely did, I do want to believe he definitely added to it. But Jackson State, go like when the guy who's looking up the records, we led the attendance forever, right? And a few other Southern, of course. So what Deion did, what I will always say is he brought a new fan base. I was just in Nashville for the birth of one of my youngest son's first child. I'm on the elevator with a Vanderbilt shirt and a Missouri shirt. I start talking a little trash. I'm like, Vander, you here? You just got kicked out of the baseball. What's that? Dude looks at my shirt. What y'all gonna do without Deion? I had to double check. I said, you know this Jackson State? He said, yeah. Man, that right there is what I love, because that, once it's plenty of people. I used to have to use Walter Payton, but now it has come current. And not only did they keep up with Jackson State, they kept up with every
recognition and relevance.
That right there. So that's what, and we're still gonna get mileage out of Deion, even in Colorado. Every year, every weekend, they're gonna have to show flashbacks of what he did on the sideline at the Jackson State.
Absolutely.
And not only Jackson State, whatever school we were playing. So when we took that G off Gramblin's head, or whoever we did that, had to get him on that one. You'll get. we'll get that. If Southern, when we beat them down twice last year, I'm doing all this so I can get hate, when I get back home. So anyway, but that's it.
Yeah.
It's good, man. And part of the good thing about having Coach Sanders there was the fact that he brought in microphone. He brought in more eyeballs. The infrastructure was there.
There you go.
Jackson State knew about Jackson State.
Right.
Grambling State knew about Jackson
Right.
State. Jackson State knew about Grambling State.
Right.
Tuskegee knew about Grambling. Like, we knew, but Deion adding him to it allowed for other people to come in, and that was great. And what else is great is the way that you be cooking this food. The food is great. We got pictures. It is superb. Oh my gosh. We had gumbo when I went over there. You were also making breakfast. Like, the pictures on social don't do the taste of the food justice. So that is superb. I love that so very much. If we can get that picture thrown up, I don't know if we've thrown it up just yet.
Where can they find you on social?
What's your social? What's your social?
Okay. I got, we talked about this last time. Remember, I end up being just who I am. Kelvin, would put an L in it, not the two-phone guy, but Kelvin Gates. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. Just as that, I'm actually on Twitter. I think the only difference on that one is I don't have the period in the middle of my name. The other two are just, could be my name with the period, but I think Twitter is definitely one single word.
At Kelvin Gates.
At Kelvin Gates.
And
Everything's
IG
Kelvin.
is Kelvin.Gates.
Well, it's probably Kelvin Gates.
Okay, Kelvin Gates.
But IG kind of. I just keep up with it a little bit. They will find me either way.
I got you. You'll pop
me.
up.
Right.
Kelvin Gates.
Right. The problem though I have is, and this is a real problem, guys. Millennials don't understand when they type in KE, L comes before V. So a lot of times I get shout outs that I have just created a new song and it's not me.
Kelvin.
So I'll have to send CJ a few of those chats, and it's too funny. So, but anyway, other than that,
Kelvin is always on the grill, doing a great job. You won't be on the grill this year at the picnic.
We won't be on the grill. As a matter of fact, I'm going to Chicago for another Jackson State thing. They have a thing up there called For Love of Blue. But what's nice is what Mike brought out. That's another time you go up there. I went to I've been going up there since about 2015. A softball tournament. I had no idea the number of HBCUs represented once again in Chicago. Now, does it make sense? Sure, but it's just like Memphis from Mississippi. That quarter is still part of. I mean, somebody ought to go do. I know if you ever go down to Mississippi, they got the Great Migration Museum. I mean. And that's not just a great migration in terms of that, but it's still happening. These big cities still attract. That's where the foundation for bigger jobs, better jobs, or something like that. And so it's so nice to see that. And once again, you're out there in the park and you realize. And I just love the way people. On one hand, it's kind of silly, but at the same time, it is a great chance for us to let people know HBCUs are part of American fabric like anybody else, and that's what we've got to. That's what we've got to do more of our own events to let people know. We're just, if your school's accredited.
This is the thing on that topic. My mama's church group is here. They're from Greenwood, Alabama. Most of them hadn't left Greenwood, Alabama. Right. That's all they've known. And you come to a city like a Memphis or Chicago, one of these beacons of blackness, for lack of a better phrase. And you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get here. I got to get with my people.
Right.
So there's a reason why there's such a strong HBCU alumni base here. It's like you said, it's the Fortune 500 companies that are here, but it's also like Memphis it's a chocolate city.
Exactly.
So if you're in Memphis, there's a good chance that you, as a kid, you're going to go to a HBCU, and then when you graduate, you're going to come back home. If you're from middle of nowhere Tennessee, if you're from middle of nowhere Mississippi or Alabama or Missouri, and you're black, and you go to a HBCU. It's hard to go back home. It's hard to go back to rural America where you're the only one in town. Looking around like, okay, what's close by? Oh, Memphis is. Let me get to Memphis. There's a strong cultural pull by Chicago, Memphis. I throw Baltimore, Mike, in there. DC, another one I throw in there. New Orleans, maybe Trenton, New Jersey. Like, there's a strong pull for black people to come to those cities because you want to be around your people, man. They understand you. They understand what you're going through. So that absolutely leads to it. Now we have the picture of your food, Mr. Gates. Let's take a look there. Look at that. Look at that.
All right, go ahead and describe it. Go ahead and describe it. Go ahead and describe it, Kelvin. What you got here?
That looks like I was doing enchiladas. I'm getting old, so I might not can see that far. CJ, tell me what it says up there.
You got some crawfish Alfredo sauce and a seared ribeye.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's my latest thing. Everybody can just have catfish, but guess what? Why can't you take your crawfish etouffee, don't make it as thick, and pour it on top of your catfish or your steak. There you have it, man. And we do all
and make it a pontchartrain. I got you.
And let me tell you, CJ, he just told you at the tailgate, we took the gumbo and poured it over everything that was on the grill. It's not like the gumbo was just served in the bowl. I think I gave CJ some fried eggs, and I said, hey, put some gumbo on top of it. Nothing like a yolk busting with some gumbo on top.
So
of it.
good.
So there's nothing that we don't. And part of that, let me tell y'all something. And it's just like at the tailgate. I mean, at the picnic last year. You were there. The Red Hots. Who would have ever thought people went crazy for the Red Hots?
Those Red Hots are the best.
Because I think we end up having to cook them on the charcoal fire. And here's I could even tell the age of the people. If you are over, I hope none of them listen and get mad, but if you were over 60, here was the request. Remember, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely.
Split it and burn it.
And burn it.
Yes, that's how it's got to be.
I would say drop that down to 45.
And drop it down to 30.
I'm gonna make my Alcorn sister and siblings mad. Alcorn, because it's more of a country rural school, I had to do that to them.
Yeah.
They want it split, flipped, and burnt. Jackson State being more of a highly sophisticated school.
Eating Red Hots.
We just want ours split at the top. Any Southern fan definitely would appreciate gumbo. If you ever gone to it, by the way, and I know, Mike, you've been. It actually used to trip me out when I first started, I was in school. I would go to a Southern game, and I was looking for traditional barbecue. These guys show up with pots. They're just boiling food. I mean, I was like,
barbecue doesn't mean the same in Louisiana. It's a different.
Especially when you get closer to the river down there where they make you part. So I was just like, hey, where's your ribs? No, these guys are showing up with. There's no. A lot of people only eat gumbo when it's cold. No, they eating gumbo in 100. It's 102. The gumbo's 140, raising your body temp to 200, and they still eating it. But yeah, every school has a great tradition, and it showed in. That's what was so cool. Every school that had a different tradition actually wanted that Red Hot cooked a certain way. That was so unique. That was so unique. The hamburgers wasn't even touched. Now hamburgers at a picnic should be here. Remember the Red Hots were gone before the burgers.
Absolutely.
That is just amazing. So
you talk about a guy that does not sit down the entire time. Now we're gonna miss you out there Saturday, but we know that your spirit is gonna be there on that grill and doing this thing. Just the camaraderie, right? And again, it's a sort of semi-private event, but there's always a welcoming arm there.
It is.
And what helps this event too is that you might not have gone to that school, but you know someone who went to that school and that picnic. And you can also bring some young people because chances are there's going to be someone who worked in the admissions office or someone who has a connection on the campus still at that picnic that they can say, oh, I didn't think about going to Alabama A&M. Well, guess what? There's Alabama A&M's 10 over there.
Right.
It can be a de facto college fair in a way, and that's the beautiful thing about it.
Man, it is no doubt, Mike. Like I said, as I mentioned, just at my own workplace, just finding out the FAMU people who work at FedEx, we started chat. You definitely we have some obviously IRS has a big hub here.
Yeah.
So some of the accountants that's happening right now.
Networking.
That right there is definitely. Now we need to promote it more, but it's happened by the fact that we're having the event.
Yes,
and it definitely, and not only just for the current students. How many people are bringing their grandkids out there? I'm that age.
Yeah.
So that kid goes, wow, I did not know that school it did that. Alabama A&M has one of the best. If you're thinking about being a true astronaut, or at least working in the space program, go over to Alabama A&M.
Because it's in Huntsville.
Yeah, and my little brother had one of the best statements. He says, when companies come to an HBCU, they looking for you. I mean, that is, I told him we got to get some coffee cups. Me and him plan on opening a free marketing company if we ever win the lottery. And he's right. That's what people have got to remember. There's nothing wrong with going to any school, right? I want anybody to get an education or better themselves. It doesn't have to be, it can be a trade, right? In this current environment world, there's some plumbers and my HVAC guy with the weather getting hot makes more than all of us, probably up there with Ja. But anyway, that's another story. But the whole point is, those schools have interns that you can get in the door, and the next career is on you. After that, it's on you. And these schools, our schools are given the same foundation as any other school out there. And this event allows us to promote that through the use of fighting, good trash talking football. But at the same time, we are leaving there, contacting each other about this. Matter of fact, FedEx has a great thing with Valley, where they're going down there and bringing kids, bringing people up to work, and they've got a good partnership. So it exists. It exists without us even trying, but we can as we regain this thing more and more, we're going to push even more of that kind of stuff.
No
Mr.
question
Gates,
we'll get you out of here.
to you.
But let's throw up the graphic one more time so people can connect to how to get it, where they're going, and
Saturday,
what's going
June 24th, Cameron Brown Park. Be there. It'll be a great time. It'll be fun. And like Mr. Gates said, it's welcoming network opportunities, and it's just going to be fun. We talked to you way too long, Mr. Gates. We could keep talking to you, Kelvin. We're going to let you go. We're going to get out of here. That'll do it for this week's episode of HBCU Huddle. Come back next week. We'll have more fun for you. For Mike, for Mr. Kelvin Gates, I'm CJ. Everybody take care.